Welcome back. What's up, Mike Hubbard?
Ken Jenkins, what's happening, brother?
And our main man, Derrick Rogers.
What's up, fellas?
The official voice of reason on this show.
You give me too much credit.
No, because Mike and I tend to wander.
And we are unreasonable.
And we can be unreasonable at times. So every now and then,
we got you covered.
We need you to bring us back in.
We got you covered.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. As you know, we've been going through trying to pick out a new name. We got one suggestion that we really like.
What was that?
Two old guys and a mic.
Oh, cool.
I like that. I like that one.
I like it.
Two old guys and a mic.
Right.
Double entendre.
I like it.
I love saying that.
I know.
Double entendre.
You said it like 10 times since we've been here today.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means. I don't know if I'm using it right.
I think you are.
But I heard it somewhere before.
Right.
Double entendre. So two old guys. I guess that's me and you, Derrick.
Yeah.
Right. We're the old guys.
Because we both 50-something.
We are both.
Mike is 50-something.
I'm actually 50-something as well.
You're 50-something as well. But
yeah.
Between the three of us, I think we still know a little something.
Yeah.
Trying to share the knowledge with our folk.
Yeah.
Two old guys and a mic. Tell us what you think about that.
Yeah, let us know.
Well, we got a host of things that we want to talk about. Oh, where do we start? I think we should start right at the top of the list with our girl BG.
Britney Griner.
Britney Griner.
Free at last.
Free at last. Free at last.
Bet she won't take no more weed. What did she? What was it she had?
It was some kind of vaping pen or something. I think it was something to do with her anxiety or, it wasn't like she had a bag of Chiba. Right.
What's Chiba?
I just dated myself, right?
What's Chiba?
Chiba, y'all.
Oh,
what's Chiba?
What is Chiba? I don't know what that is.
Derrick, do you know what Chiba is?
Yeah, that's that is weed.
Oh,
the icky wiki.
Stop
high-siding.
That is in a few of the East Coast rappers' songs back in the day. They called it
Chiba.
Gotcha.
Chiba, y'all.
Yeah.
Beat, y'all. Chiba,
Gotcha.
y'all. Yeah. What do they call it out here in Texas?
weed. The weed.
The weed. Marriage of hoochie.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, she man, I can't imagine being in her situation. They don't play in Russia.
But that was such, in my opinion, right? That was such a political move.
Yeah.
With Russia, knowing what they were wanting to do, figuring that they would get the U.S. into an intermediate or some type of mediation kind of position, because now they had this American over there in jail, and somehow we would come to their political defense with what's going on in Ukraine. That's my opinion. I don't know. I'm not. What was that guy? That was the political affiliate, the political analyzer. That movie. What's that movie with?
Which
with man, I blame it on COVID.
Okay.
What?
Oh boy.
What's the guy who was married to J-Lo?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. He played Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan.
Oh,
He played that political analyst who ended up being out in the field.
Right.
I was about to say, I'm not a Jack Ryan.
Right.
But that's what I think. I mean, and just to know, what ultimately was the bargaining chip, in terms of the offense, right? So we traded a guy who was some type of war criminal and gun trafficker.
Yep.
For someone who got caught with some vaping pens.
Right.
And this dude is apparently, or at some point, was a very dangerous person.
Exactly. He was on like the most wanted list.
Yeah. But it's interesting the mixed reactions.
Yeah.
Some people are like, yeah, we got her out, and other people are like, what about the Marines? And it's just weird that we're at a point where we cannot agree on anything.
When you say we, are you saying
Americans?
We Americans, or are you talking about us?
Americans, and then subcategory us, black folks.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, you would think everyone would be happy that she is free, and just let it be that.
I heard a podcast the other day, and they were talking about it, and they were just making so much fun of her. And I'm thinking to myself, man, we can be our own harshest critics.
That's a whole nother.
Folk out there posting free Britney, putting it on their Facebook page, and then turn around calling her Juana Man.
See, that's a whole nother road.
Talking about why did we go over there and get her? Why is she more important? I'm just saying, and then obviously, you bring in the personal life choice situation, right? I could care less. Yeah. When have you ever, and this is what I want to say, when have you ever had a presidential administration in the history of this country make such a concerted effort to save the life of a black woman?
Right.
Come on, man.
Right?
Wow.
I don't care what you Democrat, Republican, Independent now is like the girl in Arizona now, flip parties.
Yeah.
Got voted in and then she flipped.
Right.
Woo, boy.
Yeah.
That was a political coin toss right there. But
yeah, there's so many pieces to this story. As you said, given her sexual orientation, again, the fact that she's a black woman, a basketball player, so someone with high visibility. And I think Russia, my opinion, definitely is playing into all of that, meaning they knew, they knew arresting her would warrant outrage in the sense that, again, this is another kind of a divide, right? So many divides, racial, and then even the fact that, the treatment of a celebrity versus someone who's been over there in captivity for however long and is still there. I think the gentleman's name is Paul Whelan or something like that. Whelan. So Russia knows the conversation and knows the confusion that this will cause and all of the discussion and the outrage that this will cause. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, you certainly could argue, really, how many other athletes or other people have gone over there with less? I think they obviously did it to make a statement. It was kind of, around the beginning of the Ukrainian war. So they needed to do something to distract. Right. And really, of all people, she didn't pose any type of political threat.
Right.
No.
And so
what was her threat? She was going to, make a midnight run and get some munchies?
And you know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and didn't she? This was a part of her normal off-season routine, right?
Right.
To go there and play.
Yeah. Right. Well, you have to because
they don't make enough money.
That's a whole nother topic right there. The disparity in the salaries between female athletes and male athletes. And you don't even have to call them athletes. Females and males in this country. I think there's a statistic that talks about the disparity being close to 50% less of what the average male makes in the same industry, in the same position a female will make. So that's...
And, and again, Russia knew the fallout, what the fallout would be. And especially she was traded for the Merchant of Death. That is this guy's...
Come on now.
This is what they call this guy.
The Merchant of Death.
He like a wrestler? Sound like a WWE.
But, but
let's get ready to rumble.
The Merchant of Death.
But think about those implications.
Yeah.
You're saying... And don't get me wrong, we are all happy that she is here. Yeah. She shouldn't have been locked up in the first place. She should not have been locked up in the first place. I'm working on my enunciation, so bear with me.
You're from South Oak Cliff, though.
You know it.
You're all right.
All day long.
All day long.
But that said, you are giving, we get her back, so to speak, and that's great. But we had to trade the Merchant of Death. So what does that say to people? Again, it furthers the discussion. It furthers the divide because we already think celebrities are spoiled anyway.
Right.
And so again, given that backdrop, plus again with Paul Whelan still there.
Right.
It's just it's a tough situation. But the main thing, for her is that really pray that she, gets the help she needs in terms of any counseling and, kind of getting reacclimated here, because I don't think, none of us knows exactly what she went through. Right. And that's the main thing, though. Hope that she can really just over time, people give her the space.
Right.
Don't crowd her. Just give her space to reacclimate to being back home.
Yeah.
I watched a little segment last night where they were talking about that. A psychologist was actually on, and he was saying that the celebrity that she has actually may help her within some reason, because she's used to the limelight. She's used to being the center of attention, so to speak.
Right.
And so she may have already developed a way of dealing with the masses. But he did say the emotional scars, the memorialized scars are something that you may not realize until years down the road.
Right.
You go to sleep at night and you wake up thinking you're in a Russian prison.
Right. Exactly. And this is, again, this is different. This is different than normal celebrity, if you will, because now, as we always have, you always have these crazies now who on the other side who didn't want her freed and who going to be reaching out and doing crazy stuff. So she probably is going to have a more heightened sense of awareness now.
Right.
Because of, this is unfortunately where we are as a society.
Why would you not want her free? I don't get that.
Well, I've heard some people say, well, she pleaded guilty. She's never claimed innocence. So she did what she did. My thing is, and I know this is going to sound very, I don't know, conservative.
You're conservative, Mike.
I've been called that.
One of these days, we're going to invite your friend on the show.
Yeah, no, I got a really conservative friend.
White Mike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get white.
But
White power.
my only question is, why would you go into a country on the cusp of war? Did she not know she had this in her bag? What? Did she forget? I don't understand.
I don't know. That's a good question. My understanding from the periphery is that she had done it before and hadn't been stopped.
And they just let her go through.
They just let her go through.
Wow.
Because I think it was medicinally prescribed.
Yeah, because now they were saying she had like anxiety.
Exactly. She wasn't carrying a bag of Chiba.
Oh,
right.
I got some anxiety too. I wanted to know.
Watch out.
I got some gummies.
Watch out. Watch out.
I got some gummies.
Can I get some?
I'll hook you up with some gummies.
But, so it's that, that group was like, well, she was guilty.
Yeah.
She knew where she was going. She knew how harsh their laws were.
Right.
So it's on her. It's that group of people.
Yeah, but it's like, I agree with you, that once you know better, you do better. To quote the famous and loved Maya Angelou. Once you know better, you do better. But when you get used to doing something,
true,
even if you quote unquote know it's not necessarily above board, or there's the potential of getting caught,
right?
Well, you continue to get away with it. It becomes the norm, right? So
right.
She had done this before, and she had traveled with these vape pens. They were medicinally prescribed.
Right.
This was a political move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely a political move with
I got a bad feeling
Russia,
about this.
Knowing what they were wanting to do with Ukraine. I watched a movie the other night on Netflix. I think it was on Netflix, where it talked about the propaganda of the Nazis. And I just think to myself, man, that propaganda concept is like big over in Europe.
Oh yeah.
They just, I'm
They're
not saying
good at it too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that we don't do it here, but it's like if they can control the minds of the people by what they
right.
feed them through the media,
right?
That's how Hitler developed the whole Nazi party. What I didn't realize was the Nazi party was actually a political party.
Yes,
yes.
Similar to like our Democratic
right.
Republic. I didn't even know that.
Absolutely.
That's why this whole MAGA thing is not something to be laughed about.
Right.
It's not something to be laughed
That's
about.
how the Nazis started.
Interestingly enough, did I say that right? Did I? Interestingly enough,
there you go.
You bring up MAGA. I'm listening to one of Hitler's old speeches, and what does he say? Almost verbatim.
Yeah.
Make Germany great again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, wow, that sounds frighteningly familiar.
The playbook is very old.
Playbook is very old.
Very old.
And the difference, the main difference, the rhetoric is the same.
Yeah.
Right.
But in Europe, it was backed up with force.
Right.
Yes, because they didn't have, especially going back to the Nazi era, Hitler's reign, they didn't have the physical resources to build that infrastructure.
Right.
They were the only thing that I think Germany had at that point was like coal. They didn't have the iron ore to make steel, and so his philosophy was, conquer and plunder,
Right.
and we'll steal their resources.
Yeah. But to kind of go back to Derrick's earlier point, it's sad that we are now, there's so many things that divide us.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, her race is a point of division. Her sexuality is another point of division. She's an athlete. That's another. So it's like we can't just be humans.
We can't be human.
Yeah. We got to be put in these categories that are meant to divide.
What is that old psychological concept of we fear what we don't understand?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so, we got to be put in the box so that people can better understand us. I remember when I was young, a mother used to always joke with me about the fact that on any applications or forms, I would always check other. Right? Being interracial, I would check other. Right? Now we got everything on there, Pan-Asian, African-American Indian, Latin, other than black. I mean, there's like 8 or 9 different choices now. Before it was black, white, other.
Right.
Right.
And I always used to choose other.
Right.
Because I don't want to be put in a box.
Right.
Don't put me in no box.
No, man.
Unless
You don't
the box,
like boxes.
Unless the box got velvet line.
Uh-oh.
And Nia Long in there.
Oh, whoa. What?
Ain't that what you said earlier? I thought. Didn't you tell me that? Off the air, I thought. No, just kidding.
Golly.
What's off the air stays off the air,
My
Mike.
bad.
Wow.
He be in the box by himself,
I'll be in the box by myself, as long as it's not my cooling board.
meditating.
The old school folk used to say, I'm glad, praise God, my bed wasn't my cooling,
Cooling
board.
board.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Younger folk don't know about that.
They don't.
Amen.
See,
They
I'm,
will.
I'm really big on that whole concept because you guys know my
man.
last year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, let's take advantage of today, the moment, live, love, laugh.
Hey, seriously. I mean, and that's what we should do. I mean, there's so many things that that divide us, and it's we all most of us want the same thing.
We want the same thing. We just all want it our own way,
Right.
so that we can feel better about ourselves. But the division is, who cares what her sexual orientation is? Right? Who cares?
I don't.
I care that she's free. I care that another human being is not stuck in a Russian prison. Right?
Absolutely.
Not just, and I'm not trying to say that she's abnormal, but not just a normal, 6'9" woman, black woman.
Right.
God, can you imagine what that would have been like?
And
So I give her credit for just going through the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And coming out of it, walking with what seems to be a semblance of sanity.
And we be remiss though not to say, because there are some other Americans that are still there and have been there.
Right.
So we certainly our prayers are out for them, and hopefully something happens where they are able to be freed as well.
Right.
But again,
You gotta be. I know it's a little bittersweet, but you gotta be happy
totally
in a way.
Totally. Oh,
You just
100, absolutely.
When have you ever seen a presidential administration in this country? I know I'm repeating myself.
No, but it's an
Forgive
excellent
me.
point. Absolutely.
Sacrifice and intentionally help the well-being and welfare of African American woman.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then, it was another aspect of this. First of all, this exposed, we don't understand how non-tolerant, is that a word?
Intolerant.
Intolerant other countries in the world are.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
apparently in Russia, any, homosexuality and all that, they not having it.
Yeah.
I hear that they don't particularly like black people. So she's dealing with all
the
of that.
double whammy.
Right. In a Russian prison that we probably could never imagine what it's like. But then I've also heard people here in America, because I think she was one of the ones protesting the anthem,
Yeah,
stuff like
I
that,
think so.
throwing that back up in her face.
Of course.
Like, you love America now, don't you? You know, you'll stand up now, won't you?
But
You
that's
know.
but when people really kind of think back about our history, protest is American. It's not un-American to protest. And
Right.
again, the whole idea of kneeling for the flag has nothing to do with love of country. If anything, it reinforces love of country, because we know that America is one of the few places where you have freedom of expression like that, right?
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
You're supposed
And
to.
so people get, all of this, but what was the American Revolution about? What was the Boston Tea Party? What was all of that about? It was protest.
They were patriots, great patriots.
And we're just saying, just recognize us.
Right.
So that's a whole nother topic.
That is. All right.
Right. We talk about, the right to this and the right to that. Was it meant to be applied towards all?
That's what the Constitution
That's
says.
what the Constitution says. Constitution still says 1/3, right? Am I
That-
wrong?
no,
Did
they-
they remember that?
Didn't they take that out?
I don't know.
I hope.
Anyway, well, Miss Griner, it is wonderful to have you home.
We salute you.
Salute you.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Welcome
back. Hope you have success. If you ever want to come on the show, don't hesitate to hit us up. But good talk, good discussion. If you have any questions or any comments about this podcast, feel free to hit us up on what's the email, Mike?
ivopodcast@gmail.com.
Avopodcast@gmail.com.
That's our whole name, yeah.
We'll be back with another episode of Two Old Men and a Mic.
Hi.
Starting to like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. With my man Mike Hubbard and Derrick Rogers, the official voice of reason of the show. We'll be back.
Peace.